I see an artifice. All right, so we're gonna go and show how to make, or not how to make, how to use the trait system. So I can delete this here. We'll do it over here. So the traits allow you to apply different effects onto players, like increased movement speed and bottomless clip, and the inability to die, and increased shield. So you can use them to like create like special zombies or special persons, or even like weird pickups and stuff. But I'm just going to show the example of applying like increased movement speed and clip on a person that spawns, or I guess also even on custom equipment use. So actually, what are the custom equipment use? This will be a video about the custom equipment and traits. So I'm going to make a new, in gameplay, scripting, we're going to make a new script brain. And inside the script brain, we're going to make an, well, actually what we're going to do is we're going to create a, inside of gameplay equipment, going to spawn a power equipment pad. And then we're going to set this equipment pad to give us, if I can find it, custom equipment A. Right now, there's only one custom equipment, and it's custom equipment A. So that when we spawn in, you can see that it says overshield. If it does that, make sure that its static selection is enabled and custom equipment A, and then I think that fixes it. Yeah, custom equipment. So, what we do now is, now that the custom equipment is spawned, let's make it to where when you use the custom equipment, we actually want to apply a trait set. Let's say we want to move fast and have bottomless clip. So we go to events players and go on player spawned. Not on player spawned. I'm getting ahead of myself. That's not the right thing. So we want to go, I think it's inventory events. Events inventory. No, it's events custom. On custom equipment used. So this node will be fired whenever the custom equipment is used, and it will give you the activating player in the equipment type, which I don't know exactly what the equipment type gives you in this situation. Maybe the fact that it's a custom equipment A, which is kind of useless because there's only one custom equipment right now. But you get the player, and this also executes whenever it's used. So you can apply trait sets to this player. So to get started with trait sets, you go to the traits tab here, and inside of this, you need to start off by declaring a trait set. This is very similar to how the variables advanced work. So if you know how variables advanced work, this is almost identical. So we're going to declare a trait set, and we need to give it an identifier. So I'm just going to come over here to the trait settings, go to the node properties, and type in its identifier, and let's just call this custom. I'm just gonna call this custom equip. The custom equip trait set. So we need to give it some traits here, and you can also give it a trait list if you wanted to have more than the 2 traits. So on the traits tab here, you have a lot of traits like deathless, damage resistance, clamber speed, bottomless clip. So we're gonna get bottomless clip because that's the one I want to show off because it's easy to see, and also movement speed, which is down here. And let's also get a third just so we can show the trait list. So let's get maybe player gravity so that your jump height is higher. So what we need to do is we're going to put in the bottomless clip here and the movement speed here, but we don't have a slot for the third one. Well, that's where the trait list comes in. So if you come over here to the top, there's a trait list, and you can add more traits to this. But then you're like, wait, what if I want to have more than the traits here? There's a combined trait list. Hold on, let me find it. Combined trait list. This. You can actually combine trait lists. So you can actually come over here and add trait lists and add it this. And you can even use a combined trait list on the output of a combined trait list like this to add, basically all the traits if you wanted. But we don't need that. We're just going to have the trait list go in and add increased player gravity. So these scalars, these are basically multipliers to the base value. So movement speed times 1, if you 10 times 1 is just 10. So that's what this means. So this number is going to be a multiplier of the base value. So 2 times movement speed, or 0.5 will be half movement speed. So let's make it 4. We're going to multiply this by 4. And we also want to make sure bottomless clip is set to enabled. and also player gravity. So 1 is normal gravity, and I think we're going to go 0.5, so it should be half gravity. So now we have the trait set up. Let's move it down out of the way. We want to apply that when this is used, the custom equipment is used. So there is a few ways to apply a trait set. There is just the normal apply trait set for a certain amount of seconds, and there's also apply trait set until death. All of these work, except when you apply the trait set, this will apply permanently. I think even through death. I'm pretty sure this will apply through death. This will apply it for a certain amount of seconds, and this will apply it until you die. So for now, we're just going to do apply traits for a certain amount of seconds. But if you use the other nodes, or the apply trait set, there's a node to remove a trait set as well. So remove trait set. If you use this apply trait set, you probably also want to use this. So you can use this in another event, maybe like when a player is killed, or when they go into a certain area or whatever. You can use another event to remove the trait set we set up. But for now, we're just going to focus on applying a trait set for a certain duration. Think like active camo, won't last for however long. So when this equipment is used, we're going to connect the 2 triangles, and then we're also going to take the activating player, the player that used the custom equipment, and we're going to place it into the player to apply the trait set to. So that's what this player here, this is the player we're applying to. This is the identifier here needs to be the same as the trait set you're trying to apply to, because you can have multiple trait sets. There's nothing stopping me from coming over here and duplicating all these and then changing their values. So let's say it's like, oh, I want bottomless, I'd say I don't want bottomless clip, so I'll remove it. Or maybe you can make it set it to false. Maybe like, hey, bottomless clip false, and maybe make movement speed like 0.5. So it's half movement speed, but maybe you want like no gravity, or like 0.1 gravity. And then you can call this like custom equip 2. So you can have multiple trait sets, and you can reference them with the identifier. But for now, we're just going to keep the 1 trait set, and we're going to call it custom with an custom equip. So reference it with the names need to be the same. It's very important the name is the same. You can also use, instead of typing it manually, you can use inside the variables basic identifier. Where's it at? I'm blind. Identifier. You can also place it in here and connect them like this. These things are equivalent. It's just this is more clear that they're both referring to the same thing. Both are the exact same. I tend to favor the other one because it has less lines connecting things. So now we also need to set how many seconds to apply this for. So let's say 5. So now when we spawn in and we come over and pick up, so right now you can see that I don't have bottomless clip. I have to reload. If I come over here and pick up the custom equipment and then use it, you can see I'm now moving really fast and have bottomless clip. And I never have to reload. And then once that 5 seconds is up, my ammo runs out and I'm moving slow again. We run back over and we can see again that you move really fast when you use it. You can see now that I'm sprinting, how fast you move. And then now that it's been 5 seconds, it went away. And that is how you use trait sets.